There comes a moment in every life when a man must decide whether he shall remain a prisoner of his impulses or rise as a master of his mind. That moment is now. The world has deceived you into believing that success is determined by fortune, by circumstance, by inheritance, by the favors of others. I tell you, all of that is false. Success, lasting success, unstoppable success, is determined first and foremost by your ability to master yourself. Until you conquer your inner world, the outer world will conquer you. Until you learn to detach from fleeting emotions, you will forever be ruled by them. Until you discipline your thoughts, you will live as a servant to impulses. Man's greatest battlefield is not the marketplace, nor the courtroom, nor the field of war. It is the silent battlefield of his own mind. Fear, anger, envy, pride, the hunger for approval, these are the enemies that lurk in the shadows. They need no sword to defeat you. They conquer by suggestion, by reaction, by stealing your clarity, your time, your composure. And yet, these enemies cannot withstand the calm gaze of the master who rules himself. The storm rages, but the master is still. The world provokes, but the master remains unmoved. This is the mark of true power. To achieve this mastery, you must embrace timeless principles, laws older than kingdoms, proven by the lives of every great man and woman who has risen above mediocrity, definiteness of purpose. Self-discipline, autosuggestion, mastery over emotion, accurate thinking. These are not merely concepts. They are the pillars upon which greatness is built. Fail in one, and your structure crumbles. Fulfill them all, and you rise beyond the reach of ordinary men. Let us begin with definiteness of purpose. A man without purpose is a ship without a rudder, tossed about by every wave, carried wherever the current dictates. He reacts to circumstance instead of creating it. He asks not, "What must I become?" but "What will the world allow me to be?" Such a man is already defeated. But the man who decides with unshakable clarity what his life shall stand for, that man has already begun to command destiny. For every emotion, every thought, every decision can then be measured against that purpose. Anger, does it serve the purpose? If not, it is dismissed. Fear, does it move me closer to my aim? If not, it is ignored. Pleasure, does it strengthen or weaken me in pursuit of destiny? If it weakens, it is denied. Purpose becomes the filter through which life is purified. Next comes self-discipline. This is the backbone of mastery. To command yourself is to be a sovereign. To indulge yourself is to be a slave. Discipline is the ability to act when action is demanded and to refrain when impulse tempts you astray. It is the steel that forges character, the fire that tempers will. No man can lead others who cannot first lead himself. Every habit of weakness must be uprooted, every indulgence put in chains, every promise to yourself fulfilled with precision. For if you cannot respect your own word, how shall others respect it? If you cannot command your own hand, how shall you command armies, enterprises, or nations? The third principle is autosuggestion. Here lies the secret lever of the subconscious. Understand this law. Whatever thought you repeat with faith becomes accepted by the subconscious mind, and what the subconscious accepts, it acts upon until it becomes reality. If you tell yourself you are weak, you will live weakly. If you tell yourself you are calm, disciplined, masterful, your subconscious will engrave that law upon your being. Repeat daily the affirmations of mastery. I command myself, I am master of my emotions. I think accurately. I act with discipline. My purpose is fixed and unshakable. With repetition, these words cease to be mere sounds. They become law. And law, when inscribed upon the subconscious, becomes destiny. The fourth principle is mastery over emotion. This is not the denial of feeling, but the refusal to be ruled by it. To feel is human. To be enslaved by feeling is weakness. Anger may inform you of injustice, but you decide whether it shall govern your tongue. Fear may warn you of danger, but you choose whether it paralyzes or sharpens you. Joy may lift you, but you command whether it makes you careless. The undisciplined man is a puppet pulled by every string of emotion. The master feels, observes, chooses. He is detached. He is sovereign. He is free. Finally comes accurate thinking. This is the discipline of perceiving reality as it is, not as you wish it to be, nor as emotion paints it. Accurate thinking separates fact from opinion, cause from effect, substance from appearance. Most men live in a fog of inherited beliefs, unchecked assumptions, and emotional distortions. They react not to truth, but to illusions. The accurate thinker pierces the fog. He asks, "What are the facts? What is true, regardless of my feelings?" This discipline protects him from folly, shields him from deception, arms him with clarity. And clarity is the rarest and most powerful weapon in the world. Now, let us weave these principles together into a single garment of mastery. Purpose gives you direction. Discipline keeps you upon the path. Autosuggestion programs the mind to persist. Mastery of emotion ensures calmness in all storms. Accurate thinking provides clarity of decision. United, these principles transform the ordinary man into an extraordinary force. He ceases to be a creature of chance. He becomes a creator of destiny. He ceases to be a servant of moods. He becomes a master of fate. Think of this law of cause and effect. If you allow emotions to govern your actions, you forfeit your power. But if you command your thoughts, you command your future. The reactive man will always be ruled by the calm man. The slave of impulse will always bow before the master of detachment. This is not opinion, it is law. The world belongs not to the loudest, not to the strongest, but to the most disciplined, the most composed, the most unshakable. Therefore, I tell you, rise now, declare independence from the tyranny of your impulses. Refuse to surrender the throne of your mind to anger, fear, envy, or the craving for approval. Build within yourself the fortress of discipline. Arm yourself with the sword of accurate thought. Crown yourself with the calmness of mastery. And then go forth into the world not as a beggar for success, but as a sovereign commanding it. For once you have mastered your inner world, there is nothing in the outer world that can resist you. And the man who has conquered himself has already conquered the universe. Consider the stormy seas of life. Without a rudder, the ship is helpless. Waves of circumstance, tides of emotion, and winds of opinion strike it relentlessly. Yet the captain who has mastered the art of navigation, who understands the currents and charts his course with precision, is unshaken. So too is the man who masters his mind. Emotional detachment is not coldness. It is the rudder that guides action through turbulence. Anger, when detached, becomes insight. Fear, when detached, becomes caution without paralysis. Desire, when detached, becomes focus instead of obsession. The world will attempt to sway you with its chaos, but the disciplined mind remains steadfast. To achieve this state, one must first understand the law of mental neutrality. Every stimulus, every encounter, every misfortune or fortune is neutral. It possesses no intrinsic power to disturb you. Power lies in your response. When a man slaps you with insult, you are not struck unless you allow it. When misfortune befalls you, it destroys only what you allow it to destroy. The world reacts, but it is your inner judgment that assigns weight and significance. Learn this law, and the tyranny of circumstance crumbles. The detached man transforms obstacles into stepping stones. He converts adversities into catalysts for growth. Every hardship becomes a lesson. Every slight an opportunity to exercise mastery. Understand also the power of calmness. Calmness is not the absence of challenge. It is the presence of control. Observe the great men of history, the generals, the inventors, the leaders of empires. In moments of crisis, their minds were not tempestuous. They were reservoirs of clarity. Calmness allows the mind to see accurately, to perceive opportunities hidden by panic, to take action with precision rather than impulse. It is not innate, it is cultivated. Each deliberate breath, each pause before response, each moment of reflection strengthens this power. Calmness is the muscle of the mind, trained through repeated acts of disciplined observation. Let us speak now of the principle of thought first. All action springs from thought. The man who does not command his mind will find his life dictated by the random musings of chance. Thought precedes speech. Thought precedes action. Thought is the seed, and life is the harvest. Therefore, cultivate thought carefully. Weed out negativity, doubt, and petty resentments. Fertilize the mind with purpose, with vision, with unwavering faith in your capacity to act decisively. What you allow into your mind today becomes the blueprint of your tomorrow. If you are not vigilant, your mind will accept garbage, and the world you construct will be chaos. Now consider the concept of emotional investment versus emotional detachment. The man who is emotionally invested in outcomes beyond his control is shackled. He becomes anxious, reactive, and unpredictable. He chases approval, fears criticism, and loses sight of purpose. The detached man, by contrast, invests energy only where it yields return. In action, in discipline, in preparation, in mastery over self. He does not suppress emotion, he channels it. He does not flee from responsibility. He embraces it without attachment to fleeting recognition or reward. Here lies the secret: freedom within action. Detachment does not remove responsibility, it removes distraction. It is the paradox of power. By releasing the emotional grip on the uncontrollable, one gains dominion over the controllable. Let us examine response versus reaction. Reaction is the enemy of mastery. It is instinct, untempered by thought. Reaction is the servant of chaos. It is what men call losing one's temper, panicking, or acting rashly. Response, by contrast, is deliberate. Response is guided by principle, by purpose, by understanding. The man who practices response over reaction builds a fortress of opportunity. He sees insult and chooses strategy. He sees misfortune and chooses solution. He sees temptation and chooses alignment with destiny. Each measured response strengthens discipline. Each uncontrolled reaction erodes it. One small moment of reaction can undo years of preparation. One moment of response can accelerate decades of achievement. Consider personal initiative. Mastery is not passive. It demands action. Yet action without detachment is reckless. Initiative requires both courage and composure. The detached initiator acts from clarity, not compulsion. He does not wait for conditions to be perfect, he shapes them. He does not wait for permission, he grants it to himself. He does not act from fear of failure or desire for approval. He acts from commitment to purpose. Initiative, when combined with mental discipline, becomes unstoppable force. Without detachment, it is impulse. With detachment, it is power. Pause and reflect on the simple truth. The most dangerous battles are internal. Every regret, every hesitation, every self-inflicted wound stems from surrendering control of the mind. Every great man and woman in history, from leaders to inventors to conquerors of circumstance, understood this secret. Napoleon Hill wrote of it in every chapter of success, yet too few listen. The mastery of emotion is the mastery of destiny. The conquest of self precedes the conquest of the world. Now imagine yourself as a commander in a vast army. The battlefield stretches beyond the horizon. The enemy is not visible. It is within. Every fear is an ambush. Every doubt is a mine. Every impulse is a saboteur. And yet, in this army, you are not merely the commander, you are the army itself. Every thought, every decision, every movement is your command. If you discipline your soldiers, they will obey. If you discipline your mind, your actions will align with destiny. Emotional detachment is the drill. Mental discipline is the formation. Accurate thinking is the intelligence. And autosuggestion is the training that ingrains victory into every fiber of your being. Remember this: life will tempt you with comfort, distraction, and illusion. It will whisper, react, indulge, worry. The untrained mind obeys, and the unprepared man falls. But the disciplined mind pauses, it assesses, it chooses, it acts in alignment with purpose, unaffected by triviality. It perceives the currents of opportunity that others cannot see, and it seizes them with unflinching resolve. Let us now contemplate the alchemy of emotion into power. Most men fear emotion. They regard it as a liability, something to suppress or avoid. Yet the truly powerful man does not destroy emotion, he transmutes it. Anger, fear, even grief, these are raw energy. Uncontrolled, they become destructive, like fire left to spread in a forest. But guided, they become fuel for action. Detachment does not deny emotion, it refines it. Each surge of passion can be channeled into clarity, courage, and creation. Each fear can be studied, dissected, and converted into strategy. Every disappointment when seen through the lens of detachment, becomes a stepping stone, a teacher, a ladder toward excellence. Understand this: the mind that controls its emotions controls the direction of its life. The mind that is enslaved by emotion is propelled by chaos. Turn your attention now to the principle of absolute responsibility. Every moment you are authoring your reality. Blame is a chain that binds. Complaints are shackles. The detached man releases these chains. He says, I am responsible. He does not surrender power to circumstance, to others, to luck. He claims ownership of thought, word, and deed. This is not arrogance. It is truth. Responsibility is the gateway to influence. Influence is the precursor to accomplishment. The man who refuses responsibility cannot master anything, for mastery begins with the self. Observe the law of controlled focus. The human mind is like a telescope. It magnifies what it concentrates upon. Yet most men allow their attention to scatter, flitting from worry to gossip, from fear to fantasy. The disciplined mind focuses relentlessly upon purpose. It channels thought with the precision of a laser, cutting through distraction and illuminating opportunity. Emotional detachment is the lens. Self-discipline is the control. Focus is the beam. With these aligned, obstacles shrink, solutions reveal themselves, and results emerge with a force that astonishes the unprepared. Consider the principle of thought conditioning, or what I have termed auto-suggestion. The mind is a fertile field. What seeds you plant today, you harvest tomorrow. Speak to your mind as you would to a child or an apprentice. Repeat, with conviction, statements of purpose, clarity, and resolve. Every affirmation, when believed, becomes a law of your inner world. I control my emotions. I command my actions. I act only with purpose and precision. Repeat these truths until the mind accepts them as fact. They are no longer words. They are the framework of your destiny. We now examine the discipline of mental silence. Noise is the enemy of clarity. Every fear, every complaint, every distraction creates turbulence in thought. The disciplined man practices silence, not merely the absence of sound, but the presence of stillness. In this stillness, insight is born, strategy forms. The whispers of opportunity become audible. The chaos of the world falls away, leaving only the elements that matter: thought, purpose, and decisive action. Mental silence is not weakness, it is power in repose. And yet, even as we seek detachment, we must embrace the power of engagement. Detachment does not mean inaction, nor indifference to reality. It means participation without enslavement to outcome. The detached man engages fully with life, yet remains unmoved by its turbulence. He loves without dependence, works without attachment, speaks without surrender. He achieves because he is free to act unimpeded by fear, resentment, or desire for approval. Detachment is not isolation, it is freedom. Freedom to think, to choose, to create, to excel. Reflect now upon the cycle of preparation, action, and reflection. The disciplined mind does not rush blindly. It prepares, cultivating skill, knowledge, and clarity. It acts decisively with full engagement. It reflects honestly upon results, learning without ego, adjusting without resentment. Emotion serves but does not dictate. Impulse submits to principle. Reaction yields to response. This cycle, repeated with fidelity, is the engine of extraordinary accomplishment. Finally, consider the immutable principle of persistence. Emotional detachment and mental discipline are not perfected in a day. They are forged in the crucible of repeated effort. They are strengthened through trial, through observation, through the conscious refusal to surrender to chaos. Each moment of self-command adds strength. Each pause before reaction, each measured response, each refusal to be led by circumstance compounds power within. Persist relentlessly. Know that mastery is earned not in comfort, but in disciplined confrontation with the unrelenting forces of life. I remind you, therefore, mastery over your inner world is not optional for those who aspire to greatness. It is the foundation upon which all achievement rests. If you allow emotion to govern your actions, you forfeit your power. But if you command your thoughts, if you cultivate detachment, if you act with discipline, clarity, and purpose, you command not only yourself, but the circumstances of your existence. Your life becomes a testament to what is possible when the mind is mastered, when the spirit is disciplined, and when action is guided by principle rather than impulse. Begin each day with the ritual of mental sovereignty. Before your feet touch the floor, before the distractions of the world press upon you, take command of your mind. Sit in stillness, breathe deeply. Visualize your purpose as a flame at the center of your consciousness, unwavering, unshakable. Let every thought that does not serve your purpose fall away as autumn leaves from a tree. In this morning ritual, you establish the tone of the day. You decide that emotion will serve reason, not rule it. You decide that thought will precede reaction, and that no circumstance, no insult, no fear will disrupt your inner clarity. Next, practice the discipline of thought filtering. All day, your mind is bombarded with stimuli, words, images, opinions, challenges, provocations. Most men swallow these inputs without question, letting them dictate mood, belief, and behavior. You will not. You will observe each thought as it arises. Ask, does this serve my purpose? Does it bring me closer to mastery, to accomplishment, to calm, to clarity? If yes, nurture it. If not, release it. In this simple, continuous practice, you develop the habit of mental neutrality. You become the arbiter of your inner landscape. You become the master, not the servant of circumstance. Embrace the principle of deliberate response. Life will always present provocation. There will be insults, setbacks, delays, and disappointments. The untrained mind reacts. It explodes, recoils, panics, or retreats. The disciplined mind responds. It pauses, it evaluates, it chooses the most effective course of action. Consider this your shield and your weapon. In moments of provocation, when the world tempts you to abandon reason for emotion, remember, each pause is a victory. Each measured response is a claim of power. Each refusal to react unconsciously multiplies your influence and magnifies your results. Practice emotional inventory and release. Each evening, reflect upon your day. Identify the moments when emotion governed your behavior. Note them, without judgment, as observations. Ask, what could I have done differently? How could I have chosen response over reaction? How could detachment have served me? Forgive yourself for errors, but extract the lesson ruthlessly. Every night, refine your discipline. Every reflection builds resilience. Every insight becomes a stepping stone toward the unshakable command of your inner world. Integrate autosuggestion with purposeful imagery. Repeat to yourself with conviction in the morning and evening, I am calm, I am detached. I command my thoughts. I act with clarity. I achieve with purpose. I respond, I do not react. Visualize yourself in challenging situations, responding with perfect equanimity, navigating obstacles with unwavering control. See yourself achieving your highest objectives, your mind disciplined, your emotions aligned with reason, your actions precise. This repeated, vivid mental rehearsal rewires the mind, creating a bridge between thought and reality, transforming potential into power. Employ the method of incremental mastery. Begin with small challenges. Practice detachment in minor provocations, a rude remark, a delayed appointment, a minor failure. With each success, escalate the challenge. More difficult interactions, more stressful circumstances, higher stakes. Like the athlete who trains progressively to build strength, your mental and emotional muscle grows only through deliberate, structured engagement. There is no shortcut, there is no magic. There is only disciplined, relentless refinement. Adopt the practice of strategic solitude. Withdraw periodically from noise, from chatter, from the demands of others. In these moments, confront your thoughts, your desires, your fears. Study them as a scientist studies an experiment. Understand what drives you, what distracts you, what energizes you, and what diminishes you. In solitude, detachment is strengthened, mental discipline is fortified, and the foundation for decisive action is laid. Finally, integrate the ritual of purposeful engagement. Detachment does not mean disengagement from life. It means intelligent engagement. Approach every task, every conversation, every endeavor with full commitment, but without surrender to anxiety, pride, or impatience. Act decisively, yet remain emotionally free. Love fully, yet without dependence. Speak clearly, yet without attachment to approval. In this balanced, disciplined engagement, your life becomes a continuous exercise in mastery. Your influence grows, your results multiply, your destiny bends toward achievement. Remember always, success is a reflection of the mind mastered. Wealth, influence, recognition, these are consequences, not causes. The cause is the disciplined, detached, deliberate mind. When you control your inner world, your outer world aligns. When you master thought, action follows naturally. When you command emotion, opportunity responds. There is no force more powerful, no principle more absolute than the mind fully trained, fully disciplined, fully free. Understand this truth above all else. The mind that yields to fear is enslaved. The mind that commands fear is free. Every individual, regardless of talent or circumstance, confronts fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of loss, fear of uncertainty. The untrained mind succumbs, reacting violently or retreating silently, surrendering power without contest. But the disciplined mind observes fear as it arises, recognizes it as an illusion, and chooses its response. It does not ignore fear. It neutralizes it through clarity of purpose and deliberate thought. Fear becomes fuel, not foe. Anxiety becomes a signal, not a sentence. In the laboratory of the mind, fear is an instrument, tuned and directed toward achievement rather than a chain that binds the will. Cultivate the absolute law of mental ownership. You must claim total responsibility for every thought, every feeling, every action. External circumstances may provoke, but they do not control you unless you permit them to. Blame, resentment, and excuse are the currency of the weak-minded. Those who master themselves understand that power resides in accepting full ownership. Every moment of procrastination, every outburst of uncontrolled emotion, every lapse in judgment is a moment surrendered. Guard each thought, monitor each impulse, and do not relinquish your authority to anyone or anything. Command is the essence of freedom. Without it, life becomes a landscape of chance and chaos. Recognize the principle of concentrated effort. Emotional detachment is not a passive state. It is the vessel for unrelenting focus. The distracted mind scatters energy like sand in the wind. The disciplined mind concentrates relentlessly on the objective that aligns with its purpose. Thoughts, emotions, and actions are channeled like a laser toward the singular target. Distractions are acknowledged, assessed, and discarded. Every decision is measured against the criterion. Does this advance my purpose, or does it squander my mental capital? In the discipline of concentrated effort, detachment and action converge. You are neither distracted by temptation nor swayed by emotional turbulence. You are the force that bends reality. Embrace the strategy of controlled desire. Desire is the engine of achievement, yet unchecked desire is a wildfire that consumes indiscriminately. Emotional detachment does not extinguish desire, it directs it with precision. Align your desire exclusively with that which serves your purpose. Remove cravings for recognition, attachment to approval, and indulgence in trivialities. Desire, when disciplined, transforms into purpose-driven obsession, the single-minded energy that propels men beyond mediocrity, beyond doubt, beyond limitation. Adopt the ritual of thought precedence. Every action, every choice, every word should arise from thought deliberately formulated, not impulse mindlessly obeyed. The successful man does not act and then reflect. He reflects and then acts. Before entering any encounter, making any decision, or engaging in any endeavor, pause to anticipate outcomes, visualize responses, and control emotional reaction. Let your mind dictate terms to circumstance rather than allowing circumstance to dictate terms to your mind. In this ritual, the seed of mastery is planted, and the harvest of achievement is inevitable. Practice the discipline of adaptive detachment. Life is mutable, circumstances shift, allies falter, opportunities vanish. Detachment is not indifference. It is the ability to remain anchored while the world sways. You observe, you adapt, you respond with precision without the turbulence of emotional overinvestment. Each setback becomes a lesson, each betrayal a mirror, each failure a stepping stone. The mind that is anchored in purpose, yet flexible in execution, is unconquerable. Implement the system of daily mental calibration. Each morning, affirm your intentions. Each evening, audit your mental and emotional state. Identify weaknesses, recognize victories, and refine your strategy. The mind is a machine, and discipline is the maintenance that ensures its operation at peak capacity. Neglect this calibration, and chaos creeps in, unnoticed, until opportunity slips past, unclaimed. Respect this system, and every day compounds your mastery exponentially. Understand the law of silent influence. The mind that is disciplined, detached, and purposeful radiates power without declaration. People feel it before they see it. Circumstances bend subtly to it before they acknowledge it. Authority is not demanded, it is recognized. Influence is not sought, it is observed. Detachment, when practiced authentically, confers an aura of inevitability. You do not struggle to impress or persuade. Your clarity, your calm, your competence, and your unwavering focus achieve that for you. Finally, commit to the principle of relentless forward motion. Discipline and detachment are not static achievements. They are ongoing, daily practices. Mastery is not a destination. It is a journey of infinite refinement. Each moment presents opportunity for reflection, correction, and escalation. Each challenge is an arena in which your skills are tested, honed, and proven. The mind that rests in complacency loses the edge. The mind that advances deliberately, relentlessly, and without attachment becomes unstoppable. Hear me now. Your life is nothing more and nothing less than the sum total of the thoughts you command and the emotions you master. Every failure, every frustration, every fleeting joy, every triumph, all are born from the inner landscape you have cultivated, consciously or unconsciously. The man who succumbs to anger is at the mercy of circumstance. The man who surrenders to fear is a captive of his environment. But the man who has trained his mind, disciplined his emotions, and aligned his actions with purpose becomes the arbiter of reality itself. He is no longer a participant. He is the architect. Picture for a moment a man who encounters betrayal. Most men explode with indignation, react impulsively, and allow their world to fracture around them. But the disciplined mind sees the event as it is, an opportunity for insight, a mirror reflecting character, a test of resolve. He does not condemn. He does not panic. He calculates. He strategizes. He advances. The betrayal becomes not an obstacle, but a stepping stone, not a wound, but a source of strength. This is the essence of emotional detachment, to engage fully with life's events without surrendering your power to them. Understand deeply the distinction between response and reaction. Reaction is automatic, uncontrolled, and enslaving. Response is deliberate, measured, and liberating. The untrained mind reacts to insult, criticism, or provocation. The trained mind responds, choosing the action that best serves long-term objectives. Success does not favor the impulsive. It bows to the one who commands his inner world with precision. Consider this your unbreakable mantra. I am the master of my mind. Circumstances are my instruments, not my captors. Embrace now the relentless pursuit of clarity. The cluttered mind, riddled with unresolved emotion and scattered attention, is a fertile ground for failure. The focused mind, disciplined and detached, sees opportunity where others see chaos, perceives solutions where others perceive obstacles, and executes with the certainty of inevitability. Clarity is the weapon. Detachment is the shield. Purpose is the force that propels you forward. Without these, talent is wasted, effort is diluted, and life drifts into mediocrity. With these, greatness is inevitable. Turn your attention to the practice of self-command. Every thought that arises is subject to scrutiny. Every impulse is met with the question, does this advance my purpose, or does it weaken my authority over my mind? You must practice this vigil at every hour, in every conversation, in every action. The moment you relax vigilance, emotional chaos seeps in, and your power diminishes. This is the cost of mastery: constant attention, unwavering discipline, and a refusal to tolerate anything less than excellence in your inner world. Now, visualize your life as a field. Emotions are the seeds, thoughts are the irrigation, actions are the harvest. Left uncontrolled, Weeds of anger, envy, and fear overrun the field. With discipline, detachment, and deliberate thought, the field flourishes productive, abundant, and resilient. The harvest is success. Wealth, influence, peace, and fulfillment spring naturally from a mind that has cultivated its inner domain with relentless care. Reflect on the law of deliberate focus. You cannot scatter your energy across every passing desire and distraction. Every man or woman who has achieved mastery in any field has done so by concentrating thought, emotion, and action upon a single, well-defined objective. The mind that chases many visions becomes blind to all. The mind that pursues one purpose relentlessly, however, moves with the certainty of a tidal wave, sweeping aside obstacles, neutralizing opposition, and drawing to itself the forces required for victory. Herein lies the secret that few comprehend. Your inner world determines the outer world. If you harbor chaos within, you will confront chaos without. If you command peace, clarity, and purpose within, the outer world, no matter how tumultuous, bends to accommodate your vision. Master your thoughts, control your emotions, focus your actions, and the world becomes your instrument. This is not speculation. It is the law of cause and effect, eternal and unyielding. Consider the ultimate principle: relentless perseverance under detachment. Life will test you. Challenges will arise. Friends may betray, markets may crash, health may falter. The untrained mind breaks. The trained mind adapts and advances. Emotional detachment does not render you passive, it renders you invincible. You do not act from impulse or passion alone. You act from calculated resolve, aligned with your purpose, powered by disciplined desire, guided by strategic thought. Each step, however small, compounds into monumental progress. Each choice, measured and deliberate, strengthens your dominion over self and circumstance. Let this final truth settle into the core of your being. Success is not granted, it is commanded. It is not wished into existence. It is engineered through mastery of thought, emotion, and action. The individual who controls himself controls the forces around him. The individual who detaches from petty agitation, distraction, and fear attains a clarity that renders every obstacle trivial. The individual who persists, who calibrates daily, who prioritizes purpose over pleasure, who responds instead of reacts, is unstoppable. He is the embodiment of the Napoleon Hill ideal, a mind forged in discipline, fueled by purpose, unconquerable in power, and limitless in achievement. Now, hear this as your call to action. Begin today, not tomorrow, not when conditions are convenient. Today, command your mind. Today, observe your emotions. Today, commit to deliberate thought and purposeful action. Set aside attachment to approval, escape from chaos, and indulgence in distraction. Anchor yourself in clarity, cultivate detachment, and let your thoughts and emotions serve your highest vision. Each hour, each decision, each moment of control compounds into an unstoppable force. You have within you the power to transform life, not gradually, but decisively. You have within you the ability to command your inner world with such precision that the outer world conforms to your will. You have within you the capacity to act with unwavering purpose, to focus relentlessly, and to detach with supreme wisdom. The life you desire is not distant. It is immediate, accessible, and guaranteed to those who seize mastery over themselves. So rise, take command, and let the world witness the inevitability of your success. Command your mind, master your emotions, act with deliberate purpose, achieve beyond imagination. The power to change your life, to direct your destiny, to claim your extraordinary success resides in this moment. No longer defer, no longer hesitate, no longer yield to the whims of circumstance or emotion. You are the architect, the commander, the master of your destiny. Begin now, and there is no force on earth that can prevent your triumph. Understand first that emotional detachment is not indifference. It is clarity in action. Too many mistake calmness for apathy, composure for passivity. Nothing could be further from the truth. The man who has mastered himself engages with life fully, yet never allows circumstance, criticism, or chaos to dictate his behavior. He experiences deeply, acts decisively, yet remains sovereign within. To be detached is to recognize that the world is neutral. It is neither friend nor foe. Its events do not define your state of mind, your thoughts do. The storms of life are relentless, yet the anchored mind moves through them unshaken, directing the course of action, while others are swept into panic. Consider the principle I call thought first, action second. Most people act before they think. Impulse drives them, passion controls them, circumstance defines them. The successful individual reverses this order. Thought precedes action, analysis precedes movement, control precedes reaction. The mind is the workshop, action is the craft. Results are the product of deliberate construction. You must discipline yourself to pause, observe, and direct thought with precision before committing to action. In this lies the ultimate advantage, the ability to move with accuracy while others stumble in chaos. Reflect also upon the concept of the mental immune system. Just as the body can be strengthened to resist disease, the mind can be strengthened to resist distraction, agitation, and negative influence. Feed your mind with clarity, self-command, and disciplined focus. Expose it to the wisdom of masters, the principles of achievement, and the laws of cause and effect. Deny it the toxins of gossip, envy, resentment, and self-doubt. The stronger your inner mental immune system, the more invulnerable you become to manipulation, emotional upheaval, and impulsive error. Weak minds bend, break, and waste. Strong minds conquer, endure, and prosper. Turn now to the law of accurate thinking. Every man who achieves greatness does so because he perceives reality without distortion. Emotional detachment is a prerequisite for this. The emotional mind clouds judgment. Fear, desire, and anger warp perception. But the disciplined mind sees facts clearly, weighs options rationally, and acts according to objective truth. Your first task in mastery is to cultivate the courage to see things as they are, uncolored by your preferences or attachments. To do so is to claim the foundation of all power, truthful perception. I must impress upon you the power of autosuggestion and mental rehearsal. Your inner world is shaped by what you repeatedly impress upon it. Words, images, affirmations, and intentions are the architects of your emotional and cognitive structure. Speak to yourself with authority. Envision your success with clarity. Repeat principles of self-command, detachment, and focused action daily. This is no idle exercise. It is the forging of your mind into a vessel capable of commanding reality itself. Thought impresses upon emotion. Emotion energizes action. Action manifests destiny. Do not underestimate the importance of calm decisiveness. Every decision you make under the influence of agitation, fear, or uncontrolled desire diminishes your power. Every action taken from detached observation, with purpose and precision, amplifies it. Success is not built upon frantic energy, but upon steady, calculated, and relentless execution. Like a river that carves a canyon, persistence, guided by clarity and detachment, shapes the world around you. Impulse is weak, deliberation is strong. Impatience is chaos, calm is control. Now reflect on the mastery of adversity. Every great achievement arises from trial, resistance, and struggle. The emotionally undisciplined are broken by circumstance. The detached and disciplined are elevated. Adversity is neutral. It is neither friend nor enemy, but your response transforms it into either a barrier or a stepping stone. The controlled mind sees lessons in failure, opportunities in misfortune, and pathways in obstruction. To master life is to master adversity through detachment, observation, and precise action. Let me speak plainly. Control over self is control over destiny. No external force can thwart a disciplined, emotionally detached mind focused on its purpose. Poverty, loss, betrayal, and public opinion have no dominion over one who commands his own thoughts and governs his emotions. Wealth, influence, fulfillment, and achievement are attracted to such a mind, not because the world is kind, but because power always yields to authority. Your authority begins within. Command yourself, and the universe bends accordingly. Embrace the principle of continuous inner vigilance. Every hour offers a test. Every interaction challenges your composure. Every decision invites distraction. Let nothing pass unexamined. Observe your emotions. Question your impulses. Align your thought with your purpose and act deliberately. The accumulation of these conscious choices is the alchemy of greatness. One moment of uncontrolled emotion is a seed of mediocrity. One day of disciplined mastery is a harvest of power. Finally, understand that emotional detachment and discipline cultivate freedom. Freedom is not the absence of responsibility, it is the absence of inner slavery. Freedom is the ability to choose your response, to chart your course, and to act according to purpose rather than passion. Every attachment to fear, desire, or approval diminishes freedom. Every act of self-command restores it. The man who is free within cannot be enslaved without. He is sovereign, unconquerable, and unstoppable. Rise, then, to claim this sovereignty. Begin this moment to observe, discipline, and direct your mind. Let every thought, every emotion, and every action be in service of your highest vision. Detachment does not dull life, it sharpens it. Discipline does not constrain it, empowers. Mastery does not demand sacrifice, it grants dominion. Your future is not a lottery, it is the inevitable consequence of your inner rule. Command your mind, discipline your emotions, focus your purpose, and act decisively. The hour of transformation is now. Step into it, and there is no force in the universe that can prevent your ascent. Begin each day with what I call the invocation of purpose. Before the first thought of the world intrudes upon your mind, sit in stillness and declare your mission with precision. Speak aloud or silently, with conviction the objective you pursue. Declare not what you hope for, but what you intend to accomplish, with every ounce of your mental energy. Let this declaration ignite the mind, aligning thought, emotion, and desire in perfect accord. The unanchored mind drifts, the purposeful mind commands. By initiating each day with intention, you set the trajectory of every thought, decision, and action that follows. Next, practice the discipline of mental observation. Throughout the day, become the watcher of your own mind. Observe every emotional reaction, every surge of desire, every impulse to judgment. Label them and release them without attachment. If you feel anger, note, this is anger. If you feel fear, note, this is fear. By naming the experience without surrendering to it, you create the space for detachment, and with detachment, you regain power. Unexamined emotion is tyranny, observed emotion is freedom. In parallel, cultivate the law of strategic response. The world will provoke, test, and attempt to manipulate you. When confronted with challenge or conflict, train yourself to respond, not react. Pause, breathe. Consider the facts, the consequences, and your purpose. Then act with deliberate precision. Reaction is the tool of the unmastered mind. Response is the instrument of the disciplined genius. Let this principle govern your communications, your negotiations, your every interaction. Power is preserved when you choose the timing, tone, and method of your action. Integrate the practice of mental rehearsal. Each evening, retreat into focused visualization. See yourself navigating the day ahead with calm, control, and mastery. Visualize difficult conversations, challenging decisions, and moments of pressure. See yourself executing each with detachment, clarity, and unwavering discipline. In your mind, you prepare the neural pathways that will guide your real-world behavior. The body acts according to the script rehearsed in the mind. The man who rehearses success commands it. The man who drifts is commanded by circumstance. Turn now to the principle of emotional budgeting. Every human has a finite reservoir of emotional energy. Squander it on resentment, envy, and reactive judgment, and you have none left for decisive action, innovative thought, or courageous initiative. Reserve your energy for creation, for problem solving, for strategic engagement. Protect your inner resources as the financier protects capital. Energy is power. Wasted energy is weakness. Emotional detachment is the highest form of resource management. Further, adopt the ritual of reflective journaling. Each night, review your day with honest eyes. Note every moment where detachment faltered, every impulse mismanaged, every decision swayed by uncontrolled feeling. Then note the moments where discipline prevailed, where observation guided action, where purpose commanded behavior. Through consistent reflection, You map your progress, illuminate blind spots, and reinforce the neural architecture of mastery. The pen, the mind, and the mirror of reflection are tools of the self-governing individual. Do not neglect the cultivation of a calm physical presence. Emotional mastery is mirrored in the body. Breathing deeply, posture upright, and deliberate movement are extensions of mental command. The untrained mind betrays itself in tremor, tension, and fidget. The disciplined mind manifests as stillness, strength, and unshakable presence. Practice breathing exercises, deliberate pauses, and measured speech. Let your outward form reinforce the inner dominion you cultivate. Finally, embrace the principle of incremental mastery. Do not expect overnight transformation. Do not demand perfection. Mastery is built in the quiet hours of repetition, in the disciplined rehearsal of small victories, in the patient observation of each thought and action. Each hour of control compounds. Each decision guided by detachment strengthens your foundation. Success is the natural consequence of cumulative inner mastery. Remember this, your mind is a kingdom. The thoughts you allow, the emotions you entertain, the impulses you follow, they are the ministers, generals, and governors of this domain. Govern wisely. Deny entry to tyranny, cultivate justice and foresight, command with authority and clarity. The man who rules his mind rules his life. The man who rules his life commands his destiny. Rise now and integrate these principles as your daily covenant. Begin with declaration, observe with vigilance, respond with strategy, rehearse with precision, budget your energy, reflect with honesty, manifest calm strength, and advance through incremental mastery. Let these practices be your daily ritual, your inner army, and your path to indomitable success. Now, let us enter the crucible of concentrated attention, where the untrained mind is forged into an instrument of precision and power. Understand this. The mind that is scattered, flitting from worry to resentment, from approval to fear, is a mind enslaved. To liberate yourself, you must demand absolute focus on the task at hand, on the purpose that burns within you. Every thought that does not serve your mission is a thief of your power. Strike it down. Replace it with clarity. Replace it with intent. For in the theater of life, the man who masters focus becomes the architect of destiny. The distracted man becomes a servant to circumstance. Move now into the realm of deliberate detachment. This is no cold intellectual exercise. It is a deliberate choice to place your inner world above the chaos of external events. The world will attempt to provoke you, to lure you into reaction, to seduce you into petty battles that sap your vitality. Do not give in. Feel your emotions, yes, but observe them as a scientist observes a flame, curious, attentive, but unconsumed. In this observation lies power. For the moment you do not react automatically, you reclaim authority over your life. Reaction is servitude. Detachment is command. To sharpen this skill, engage in the practice of calculated pause. When faced with insult, disappointment, or challenge, count to 10 not as a hollow gesture, but as a deliberate act of sovereignty. During this pause, summon your awareness of principle, your clarity of purpose, your vision of the long-term outcome. The pause is a sword that cuts through impulse and reveals the path of intelligent action. It is the hinge upon which all mastery swings. Now, integrate the strategy of controlled desire. Desire is the fuel of achievement, but undirected desire is the spark of chaos. Learn to distinguish between craving that serves your higher purpose and craving that enslaves you. Let every longing be measured, every ambition disciplined. If you desire wealth, ask not for fleeting comfort, but for the ability to create, to serve, to innovate. If you desire recognition, align it with meaningful accomplishment, not with transient applause. Controlled desire is the engine of productive action. Uncontrolled desire is the chain of frustration. Turn attention to the principle of mental rehearsal under pressure. In life, you will face adversity, sudden decisions, high-stakes moments that test the fiber of your being. Do not hope to meet them unprepared. Each day, visualize yourself under duress, calm, measured, decisive. Hear the words spoken, see the obstacles, feel the temptation to falter, and then see yourself responding with detachment, strategy, and disciplined excellence. Through this rehearsal, The mind becomes familiar with mastery, and the body will execute with unerring precision. Understand the law of emotional investment. Your inner power is a finite resource, a currency more precious than gold or fame. Spend it wisely. Anger expended on trivialities is bankruptcy. Worry invested in uncertainty is ruin. Devote your emotional wealth to creation, to courage, to vision. Protect it as the wise merchant protects his capital. Every act of preservation strengthens your sovereignty. Every act of dissipation weakens your command. Next, practice the habit of decisive action. Detachment does not mean passivity. Discipline does not mean delay. A mind mastered, a heart trained, acts with clarity and speed. The indecisive mind waits. The disciplined mind moves. Remember, hesitation is the enemy of opportunity. Each action, guided by principle and measured by purpose, compounds into unstoppable momentum. The man who hesitates is crushed by events. The man who acts decisively shapes them. Embrace also the power of selective association. You are the average of those with whom you spend your most intimate moments. Surround yourself with minds that elevate, that challenge, that inspire measured discipline and relentless ambition. Avoid those whose presence provokes reactive emotion, whose words ignite fear, envy, or doubt. Your inner world mirrors your company. Cultivate it with precision. Advance into the discipline of self-verification. Frequently ask yourself, was my action today guided by principle or by passion, by reason or by impulse, by purpose or by habit? Be ruthless in your honesty. This self-audit, conducted daily, is the hammer that strengthens the mental steel of control. Each acknowledgement of weakness is not shame, but fuel for transformation. Each recognition of mastery is reinforcement of the path. Now, bring into focus the principle of deliberate imagination. Your mind is the workshop of destiny. What you construct there, with clarity, purpose, and disciplined vision, will manifest in reality. Every great achievement begins as a mental blueprint. Shape it meticulously. Populate it with precision. Test it in the theater of thought before committing resources in the theater of action. Let imagination be your ally, not your master. Finally, recognize the immutable law of incremental supremacy. Mastery is not achieved in leaps, but in steady ascent. Every controlled thought, every deliberate action, every restrained reaction adds to your inner capital. Compound this daily, and you become a fortress of mental strength. You become a magnet for opportunity. You become a sovereign of your fate. This is no abstract principle. It is a tangible operational law of human achievement. At this point, you stand on the threshold of transformation. You have been armed with the principles, practices, and strategies that separate those who drift through life in reactive chaos from those who rise as architects of their destiny. The remaining steps are simple, yet require steadfast commitment. Practice these principles daily, apply them relentlessly, and measure your life by mastery of self, not by the applause or chaos of the external world. Take this hour of listening. Let every sentence sink into the foundation of your mind. Let it resonate through every neuron, every impulse, every choice. By the end of this hour, your mind has been awakened, your discipline strengthened, and your path to unstoppable success clarified. The world outside may rage, tempt, and test, but the kingdom within is now firmly under your command. You are no longer subject to circumstance. You are no longer enslaved by reaction. You are the deliberate, disciplined master of your inner world, and by mastering that world, you will shape your outer reality with unstoppable authority.